So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the after show. We just did episode, what was that, 38? Our top 10 90s movies.
38 special.
Kayos got destroyed in the top 10 by a combination of Lucia and La.
You cheated and one of yours does not count.
Okay, I didn't cheat.
Nope, you did.
But, okay, that's fine.
You're basic.
Hey, I'd rather be basic than, just
you need
boring.
to watch The Good Place.
But I still think Akira's one of my top films. Like, it's still an amazing film. And the release dates on that were so weird because back then it wasn't.
That you're right. It's not great. Honestly, it's a great film.
It is a
for
great,
the 80s.
It is a great film. It's just not a 90s.
For the 80s, it's a great film. So when we do our 80s list, put it on there.
You're just being an ass now, aren't you? Because they took all your movies, aren't they? But that's fine.
No. At least the ones
like.
They took were of the decade we were supposed to be talking about.
Whatever.
I didn't pick a film that got released 2 years before the decade even started.
But anyway, you already know these assholes. We have Kayos, we have Lucia. Is she black or Asian? And then we have La, aka Black Girl Marvel here.
We're a man down. Zero has.
We're always a man down on this part, though. He always dips out in this part.
Yeah, but he pieced out early. Usually he's at least on the first part of this. The beginning of the show starts. All right, y'all, bye. But we're just.
Well, no, I think he decided to leave after Lucia basically said she's a better parent than he was. But.
Find where you live. He knows where you live and beat the shit out of
but he knows I love him.
He actually does have a white van that he drives in, so he ain't gonna.
I know, but he knows I love him. And technically, I didn't say it. She did.
I didn't say that. First of all, I said.
Yes, you did. You did. You're like, oh no, my kids listen to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying facts though. But
and the thing is, I had to use that because that's the only part of the show he's on. So when I used it for the trailer part, I'm like, well, I mean, that's the only part where it literally shows all five of us. I wasn't trying to be like that, but you pieced out too quick.
Yeah. But
so what are we talking about on this after show?
So Jamie Foxx is now back in the Spider-Man movies as Electro. News came down that the former Amazing Spider-Man 2 villain will be joining the MCU in the next Spider-Man movie, which is set to come out next year in December. Now, of course, this brings apart the idea, how is he coming back? He's already said that he won't be Blue this time, which I'm actually happy about because Blue is more so the ultimate version of the character. But what are you guys' thoughts on Jamie Foxx coming back?
The MCU is basically the Ultimates version almost. I mean,
it's a combination of a bunch of them, though. That's the weird part.
They're not too traditional. I mean,
yeah.
If they were the first Iron Man film, Tony would have been in an all gold suit instead of the red and gold suit.
True. So, what are you guys' thoughts on them bringing back Electro to be a villain in this movie? Well, there's your answer.
Sorry, no. For me,
that was mine. I'm like,
no. Well, for me personally, I didn't. The only thing about Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man that I didn't like was his hair. It was just terrible. Like whatever they were trying to do. Like I didn't like essentially his makeup. Like right, like the character they were trying to give us. I don't think they portrayed it well. So it didn't come off well. So when he eventually became, because like you wanted to make him a character that we cared about, right?
Right.
That like when all this crap happened to him, and then he became this villain, you could understand his trajectory, like his anger, why this stuff happened. It just didn't. It felt flat.
He had no motivation. He had no motivation at all. You were a love-struck fan that literally didn't even get like he saved your life. So it's not like it's not like. I forget which movie it was where one of the heroes ruins the guy's life or something, and then that's his motivation or something. Like, he saved your life and said hi to you, and you're mad because he didn't remember your name. That's your motivation.
So it's like, so for me, it wasn't like, they just didn't plan it right. So I feel like maybe in the MCU's hand, they have a good way of like telling stories, building up characters for the most part. And if you're going to make, or maybe, was this Sony? Maybe this is Sony. Whoever it is, like, hopefully they can expand on him a little bit more because in The Amazing Spider-Man, you saw him trip with a bunch of papers and then in a blink of an eye, we're supposed to care about this kid. Like, that's not how it works. Like, I don't care about you.
My biggest concern with this is I don't want them to bring in Oscorp. That was my biggest issue with the Amazing Spider-Man series overall, is they kept making everything Oscorp. Like, automatically, Lizard is because of Oscorp. Now, Hobgoblin, which I'm not ever going to call that Green Goblin. Hobgoblin is because of Oscorp. Now, Electro. Now, Rhino. All these different characters are because of Oscorp. You're kind of seeing, they only really hinted at it being a revenge thing on Stark in Far From Home with Mysterio. Vulture was just, he happened to be screwed over by damage control.
I agree with that. And I've gotten to that thing. I'm like, well, they've made his series all about Tony Stark. Well, I'm like, Tony Stark is a multi-billionaire who has companies that have a lot of influence. His stuff is going to influence everybody in that area. So
For
the
sure.
first one, I don't see that's bad. The second one, yeah, you're not going to have that villain without that. I loved it because it played back to the history of the MCU. It played back to Civil War, which is arguably the greatest film they've done. And it plays back to the first Iron Man film with the actor. So I love that. I don't want everything to revolve around Tony Stark. So like, I don't want him to have, if he's a Stark level villain, I think they really missed the opportunity.
And that's why I think he won't be. I think what they're going to end up doing, and I put this idea to you all in our chat, but I think he's going to be a direct, just like Vulture, he'll be a direct response to what happened in Avengers 1. One thing that's really not, that I kept seeing the scene over once everyone talked about Electro coming back. I kept thinking of the scene where Thor jumps on one of those buildings and uses it as a conductor to bring down lightning to attack the Chitauri. I could easily, because remember, before the attack happens, it was a normal day in New York. So you could have easily had a coil break in that building. Max Dillon's up there to fix it. And right as he does that, Thor jumps on the building, uses it as a conductor, and he gets hit with that electricity. It's gonna be really weird to explain where he's been for 5 years. You could do it to where, because essentially, because
you could say he's been pure energy, just running around the city before he learned how to make himself tangible. You feel me?
Right.
Like, you just don't become an electrical villain and be like, oh, I got this. You know
it'd be funny. It'd be funny if they actually made him part of Centipede.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
They ain't gonna do no Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. shit. I just thought that would be funny if they put him on the Centipede.
I don't think, because there are one or two ways they can do this. I think, because someone brought this up as well. What if it's just Jamie Foxx playing Jamie Foxx as Electro?
As a goof?
As a goof.
I actually wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that, because I don't know how. All right, look, I love J.K. Simmons, Detroit native. I love him. He is the only person that could have played J. Jonah Jameson. So I'm glad they didn't do him in the Amazing Spider-Man series if they couldn't have gotten him. So the fact that they got him back, I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm. I don't really know if I want to see Jamie Foxx give another take on Electro when he did nothing for me the first time. Like, J.K. Simmons was one of the best things of that original Spider-Man trilogy, Sam Raimi's trilogy. Jamie Foxx really didn't do anything great with that role to warrant coming back to me as the same character. It's like,
I feel like he wasn't given enough.
He wasn't given enough.
I feel like if you give Jamie enough, it's like there are beats in the Amazing Spider-Man with Electro where he's okay. Like you'd be like, okay, he's a little menacing. Oh, okay, he about to electrify this whole staircase to kill all these people. Like there's certain things, but I feel like what let his character down was not so much Jamie Foxx. It was so much the direction in which they gave the character. Like you said, there was no reason for him to be, if anything, once he got these abilities, he should have teamed up with Spider-Man and not be against him, because obviously Spider-Man was the only person that like treated him like a person. Like he was the only thing, and you liked him. So like you shouldn't have been a villain. So maybe they can
they're not gonna bring over, I don't think if they're gonna keep continuity going. Technically, Electro in that movie died, so it's gonna be really hard to bring him back. But another thing they could do is, I don't think Electro's the overall villain of the third movie. The overall villain of the third movie, and because they're running out of villains to do that have been part of the Sinister Six.
Not really. I mean, every villain he's had at one point in time has been part of the
I'm just saying.
You
So
still
far,
got Scorpion. You still got Kraven. You still got.
no. That's what I mean.
Rhino.
If we're talking
about in the MCU version,
yeah,
we've still only seen two. That's what I mean. So you have Doc Ock, both Goblins, Kraven, Rhino, Scorpion, because all we've seen is the tattoo. We haven't really seen him be that menacing.
Okay, well,
you got the Spot, who I love. You got the Prowler, who is in that universe. So you still have a lot of characters you could really use. Personally, I've said it before, go with Kraven. Make the third one Kraven's Last Hunt. Spider-Man's on the run because of his identity, him and Aunt May. Give us Kraven because he's somebody, if you do bring back, because we really don't have any regular-based superheroes anymore, like Cap's gone. So everybody else.
The entire Avengers lineup is gone. The entire Avengers lineup is gone.
You know, but I'm saying like Cap was the one that like, had you put Thor in the Winter Soldier, he could have easily taken Bucky down. So you need a regular power level hero that we don't have right now because unfortunately we still don't know what they're doing with Black Panther. So you don't really have anybody that has a normal almost power set. Everybody else is Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Thor. You know, they're fantastical. You know, so you need somebody. Spider-Man is your regular Joe almost hero. Having Kraven in there is somewhere where you could have him be. You could have Kraven trying to hunt Ant-Man. He could be a hired gun. He'd go after Ant-Man if he wants in the next Ant-Man film or something. You know, you could have him involved in that, like somebody that's not fantastical.
I have a villain in mind, and it's something that we haven't even that's been in front of us. It's Spider-Man. We kept 2 weeks before when we talked about I can't remember the guy's name. That's from Lovecraft Country. We talked about him being in Ant-Man 3 Jonathan Majors. We talked about him being Kane the Time Conqueror. If Kane the Time Conqueror is this big overarching villain for the next Avengers movies, wouldn't it make sense for Spider-Man if they did Superior Spider-Man, Peter, as the next big villain for the Spider-Man movie? Like Electro is the bait, and then Peter has to go up against an older version of himself and beat that.
I like that. I just don't think he's that established as Spider-Man yet.
But see, here's why. But I will also do this. If I would bring him in, but then have Andrew Garfield play that older version.
I honestly think I don't think they're gonna do a straight up Spider-Verse. I think if you're gonna do Spider-Verse, you do that in Doctor Strange's film. That's where you have the license to really do that.
So technically, the Aftershow is a video version. So I'm going to address what just happened. Lou is high as balls right now, and
she's going to be in the next How High film. She's going to be in that bitch.
She took one hit and is basically in Mortal Kombat Days mode.
You're better than that, Kayos. You're better than that.
You are. I mean, you guys haven't, but we have seen our Black Girl Marvel be Black Girl Stoned for many episode. Yes, we have. But
what do you talk?
She's very interesting when she's high.
But Lou, what do you think about Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro?
I love Jamie Foxx.
But
the real question is, Lou, have you seen The Amazing Spider-Man?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny too. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the only Spider-Man film I never saw in theater.
Oh, I didn't see it in theaters either.
I saw every one. I had opening tickets, especially for the first 2, which was a bitch. So opening weekend. That one, trailers, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I wasn't, I love Jamie as an actor, as a singer, just, but it's nothing like, I don't even remember half the things y'all was, I remember the stairs, but I don't remember half the things y'all were talking about because I'm just like, oh.
I said it, like Emma Stone is one of my favorite actresses and one of my biggest crushes. And when I first saw some of the stuff they're going for in the first trailer, I'm like, I love her, but she got to die. Like that's what Gwen is. She got to die.
I didn't like the way they handled it. The way they handled it was very stupid.
I knew they were going to do something similar to comics. I mean, this comic that actually is really. The funny thing about that scene is her death in there. Technically, you don't really know what happened first. Did her neck snap and kill her and she hit it, or did her head hit it, and then
it was 1000% her head hit.
Well, that's it's close. It's really close.
Her head. No, for me watching it. Whenever I watched it, her head hit. I feel like he was too late. By the time he grabbed her head hit the. It's like they try to like split it for you to be like, well, this is the. He didn't. It wasn't really his fault, but because in the comics it was his fault.
Well, that's the funny thing about the comics, because you don't really know, did she falling from that height? You could really had a heart attack. So was she dead before?
Yeah, that's something the writers have never truly explained. Like a lot of people said, like Green Goblin might have killed her prior to him even getting there and just chucked her ass off.
I don't know how much danger has she been in the comics up until this point.
Her character was actually really good. She was better than Mary Jane became to be. Like, I've always been a Gwen guy because Mary Jane was a 1930s Lois Lane for me when I was reading the comics. Like, she was always putting herself in danger and people would have to go and save her. Gwen was smarter.
But your hate for Lois Lane is real.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Look, I'll say it like this too. My favorite Lois Lane is Terry Hatcher. I love the Adventures of It. Terry Hatcher's my favorite Lois Lane. I love that version where she was badass. She didn't back down from nobody, and even when she put herself in the danger, she was going after something. Like the way they always had her back in the day was, oh, let me go and look and see what's under this vat, and she falls, and the Superman has to save her. Some bullshit.
But that's like old hat though. Like even the Christopher Reeves, like the Margot Kidder, like she was always like going for a story. She was always looking for something. Even the Lois in Smallville would get herself into issues, but she was going for a story. She was trying to help somebody. You just don't. He don't like Lois at all. You don't like Lois.
I like Lois.
I can't focus.
The Smallville Lois for me. I love Erica Durance. I think she did great with the role. I just didn't like her character being in there so soon. Like they said, no tights, no flights. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's a young Superman. We're not going to see him be the full Superman. I'm cool. I'm down with that. I'm watching weekly. It's an hour of my time. And then they start giving us all his major villains before he's even old enough to vote. And then you bring Lois in. Then the next year you do the actual Justice League. I'm like, all right, it's still too much. I think if you were going to do it, granted you don't plan that far ahead, but I'm like, you should have made sure, like, one of the last episodes, he gets the job at the Jelly Planet and runs into Lois. That would have been cute because then you know the adventures they go on.
No, but you want to see.
They did the same stuff.
You want to be a part of that. The fact that I love Lois coming in so early is you get to see that build up because they come in not even like she comes in not even pretty much liking him. Like you just don't. Because the way the movies always planned it out was like the first moment she was like, "Hey, Smallville, move her, get out the way, guy." He was just like, "Oh, I'm in love." Oh, she yelled at me. And I love this woman because she's so strong. Like, Smallville showed you that, like, you don't start off that way, but you can always end up to where you're supposed to end up to. Like, they had to learn to tolerate each other. They had to learn to know each other. The fact, like, I love it. The fact that she knew when he was Bizarro Clark and Lana didn't, girl.
But I'm like, come on, you can't tell that's Clark. Like, I love that version. It's just... I won't take nothing more, but it was still good. But I'm like, I liked Lana in the beginning, but yeah, like you said on the old show, like in the previous show, she did become a little derivative and just was there for plot purposes. They really didn't make her a great character. They made her a substitute for Lois, and then they just brought the better version in when they brought Lois in.
She went to go do Chung-Li, and they was like, "All right, you good?" And they built up Lois real good, and then she was like, "Well, I'm done with the movie," and they was like, "Let's get you a kryptonite suit, maybe." I guess.
Right? Yeah. So to swing back, to swing back to Marvel.
Yes.
I swung back. Yeah.
Boo, nigga.
Dang.
We did find out that Nick Fury, aka Samuel L. Jackson, will be getting his own Disney Plus show, which I don't know how the hell that's going to work.
I'm all for that.
I don't think it's his show. I don't think it's just his show. I think he's a co-lead. I think the girl that's playing Spectrum in the WandaVision show, that's her show.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're gonna tie. I mean, it's already tied together, but they're gonna make sure that is a jumping off point. But I mean, I love it because I remember the original announcement for the MCU films right after the first I
didn't believe that he was gonna be in it at first.
I remember the original MCU was supposed to be Ant-Man.
You're on camera, ma'am.
Thor.
I know.
Hulk, and Ant-Man was supposed to have a film leading up to Avengers, and then they scrapped that because everything that went on with Edgar Wright. So they just said, we'll put Ant-Man in phase 2, and we'll just bookend it with Cap. But I remember there was supposed to be in phase 2 a Nick Fury film. They had announced it because they had signed Samuel Jackson for 9 films, and they said that was going to culminate in a Nick Fury solo film. And then I remember back with Winter Soldier, he had to re-sign up his contract. They kind of made that a Nick Fury-centric film. I'm glad we get it because, I mean, I love Samuel L. Jackson. I love him as that character. He's probably really one of my 5 favorite characters in the entire MCU. And even though we've gotten some stuff of his backstory, we still don't see him on a regular basis. He just pops in with his trench coat and pops the fuck out. So I'd love to see him on a regular basis.
I'm a fan. I think Nick Fury is better bottled up, right? Like you spread him against all these films. It's like, okay, you get that he's like the authoritative dude that comes in and says some stuff and all that kind of stuff. But if you bottle him up, give him like a little mini series, maybe we can see a little bit more, because like I would love to see, like, because his background is so elusive. Like even like Captain Marvel didn't really tap too much into it. You got like bits and pieces, but if they can give us like some more history on him and just like some good content, like very Mandalorian-ish type stuff for him, like, you know, and then add in some characters. Maybe he discovering some new people. Maybe he helping through us. I don't know. I love Samuel L. Jackson. Whatever he do, I'm there for. I watched him chain a chick to a radiator, and I enjoyed the movie. So like, there's nothing he can't do for me.
Yeah, but like I'm looking forward to the series, especially with WandaVision coming out soon. And Mandalorian comes out in literally 3 weeks, so thank God for that.
Lou, what do you think?
She hungry. Leave her alone.
I'm gonna title this episode "Lou Says It All."
Yeah.
But
a woman of very few words.
Yes.
But the words she says are poignant and meaneful.
Yes,
huh?
we also.
Groot.
Yes. Oh my God, she's the Groot this episode. She's Groot. she smoked that Woody and she became Groot.
That did not come out the way you thought.
No, it didn't.
No, it did not. No, it did not.
But continue.
Yes, good one. So we also got the extended trailer for Helstrom, which is going to drop on October 16th.
I'm intrigued.
On Hulu.
I'm intrigued.
For you all who don't know who Helstrom is, he's essentially the son of Satan. It stars both him and his sister.
Why Satan got a kid? Ain't that the Antichrist? Ain't that too much?
In Marvel,
so wouldn't that be? So wouldn't that? Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
So in Marvel, Satan is like
Mephisto.
No, so in Marvel there are different versions of hell. So there's Satan's hell. Yeah, so there's Satan, there's Mephisto, there's Dormammu, there's Lucifer himself. There's different character, but there's no like Lucifer character in Marvel because DC has a Lucifer character. So they didn't want to copy that, which makes sense. Like, because they have 2 different Captain Marvels.
I mean,
but
they copy off each other, so it's fine.
Yeah, of course they did. But it's gonna be one of the darker series that Marvel does. It's so much so Marvel does not even have their imprint on the actual show whatsoever. It's not in the posters. It's not in the actual headline. Nothing like that. But what it is saying that there is a belief that Ghost Rider will be in the show out based on a few teasers that they have. Which I'm looking forward to. I hope it's Robbie Reyes, but it could. I hope it's
Robbie Reyes too. Like they be like these people be picking like these people keep forgetting to like that you pick good actors to play these characters, right?
Yeah.
Like you pick good actors. Like I think this is me. I know Kayos probably don't agree with this, but I think Mike Coulter is a good Luke Cage. Like I think that
he's alright. He's alright.
Okay. No, you don't agree. So I think he's more than alright. I'm just saying, but I think old girl, what's her name? I think she's a good Jessica Jones.
Oh, Kristen
Ritter.
Kristen Ritter. I think she was a good Jessica Jones. Like y'all played us by like giving us a really good defenders and then just being like, yeah, I'm straight on that. Like I just.
You mean
like
singular or defenders as the show?
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Like, I said defenders.
She said what she said. She said what she said.
I like defenders. Defenders was good to me.
I'm glad you liked it.
It's not a Medea's funeral, okay?
Thank
so
you.
let's get
Thank
that
you.
out here.
The franchise took a dip after that, so I mean that didn't help them getting re-signed.
No. Okay, Lucia has something to say.
8 episodes and they talk around the table and Chinese food. 5 of them.
Shush, Lucia raised her hand.
Just raising her hand.
I'm gonna go.
Hello. Love you.
Peace.
But
I enjoy Defenders. I like this. So like I feel like you should bring those characters back in some capacity if you are thinking
I think they will.
This and stuff. But like my point was like I liked Robbie Reyes on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think he like bodied that character or whatever, and I think they need to bring him back.
And based on because they pretty much have because they did announce they do have the actress, I can't remember her name, that's playing Miss Marvel. They've pretty much locked in every actor or actress for their Disney Plus shows except for Moon Knight, which everyone thinks that's going to come next.
Is Miss Marvel a live action or an animated film?
Live action.
Live action.
They're
all going to be live action.
Yep. All going to be live. The only one that's not live action is What If.
So what's her name? So that girl Iman Belly, I believe her name is something like that. So
yep.
She's supposed to be the
supposed
to be Miss Marvel.
Yeah, live action.
Live action Miss Marvel. Okay,
she's live action Kamala Khan. They're still doing the casting for Moon Knight. They put it out there. I'm glad they're doing this. The casting call was for a male in his early 40s to mid 40s. So they are going to be going with a older version, which I prefer because that character has so much backstory. It would be easier to hire an older actor to do it and then do a bunch of just flashbacks.
I would have loved
to have a younger actor.
I would have loved it if it was Daniel Radcliffe, in all honesty.
I think he's trying to get away from genre stuff. I mean,
and I can get that. Hard. But back to Helstrom. A lot of people were thinking because of what with the Ghost Rider tease, they're gonna do a Midnight Suns. And based on Blade getting his own movie, we're not gonna get a true Midnight Suns. But what a character they could pull in, because we do need diversity in the team. You need a female character, and if you could get a female character that's like Blade, she's really obscure. But I would bring in someone like Elsa Bloodstone. She is a character that is not well known. She essentially, because and La might know this. Imagine Becky Lynch walking around with 2 rifles that can't get turned into a vampire. That's essentially what she is. She's not Scottish.
Becky Lynch.
Pretty much, but she has no Scottish accent. Her character does have a lot of history with the occult side of Marvel, which they're gonna go with. So I can easily see her being brought in. It may be season 2 of Helstrom, because the way these episodes look, it looks like it's gonna get a season 2. I think they're gonna devote more of the darker characters onto Hulu and let them stay over there. Their lighter characters, except for Moon Knight, will be on Disney Plus, and then let it be that. I think they're going to move away from TV altogether. We're not going to see any of these characters on mainstream TV whatsoever.
I mean, but that is their TV though.
I know. I'm saying like ABC or.
I mean,
Marvel, no more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type shit.
I mean, that makes sense.
Inhumans.
Because I feel like if Disney thought about having their own channel sooner, maybe.
Yeah.
Then I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would have been a Disney Plus show. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would have like even I think Inhumans would have been a what I'm saying. But they were I feel like for the most part Disney Marvel they put stuff out there knowing people will like watch it so they can get a little cash back and then
for sure
and then use it for their other stuff. So like because I think what was it I saw something where they think that Disney Plus or Marvel, like both of them, they might revive Chloe Bennett's Daisy.
If before you start, I think Daisy is more likely going to be on this Samuel L. Jackson sword show. I think
but that's
her character.
what I'm saying. Like they're that's what the rumor is. The talks are that they're supposedly they might revive her character and bring her back into. My thing is, if you're going to do that, you have to figure out who you want her to be, because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she went from being like this interesting hacker with no family to finding out
Mary Sue.
She's not a Mary Sue. Stop it.
She's like a super powerful Mary Sue. Like she's like one of the rare Mary Sues that can handle themselves in a fight. You feel me? Like, because it's like she went from being like this. She went from being like us in this world to like shooting the stratosphere. Like, not only is she Quake, but not only does she come from like inhuman parents or whatever, her background was so crazy, and she's Quake. But then you find out that she's essentially the daughter that Coulson never had, and then you figure out that like not only was she trained by May, now she got like killer fighting skills. And mind you, they dropped the fact that she know computers. They just dropped that to the side.
For real, that after halfway through season 1, that was just it. The second half of season 1 was her flirting with Ward.
Once she found out she had powers, it was just like.
And then, not to mention, she's more powerful than every Avenger because she blew up the damn planet.
No, I wouldn't say she's more powerful than every Avenger, but okay.
Literally, Thor can't destroy a planet. She destroyed a planet.
No, but not even that though. She literally is like an avatar in the sense because she can hold you. She can radiate the skin off your body. She can radiate your bones to shatter. Like, she is like super powerful. She's like, not only that, in the show she got stuck with the centipede, like the centipede serum or whatever that amplify her abilities on top of that too. So like it's you doing a lot with one character.
The only reason I say she's not a Mary Sue and she can't destroy the planet, because I know that's Kyle's biggest hang up, is
it's one of them. It's not the only one. Like I said, she became so overpowered that she wasn't interesting. Like when they introduced her, she was our surrogate.
But by that standpoint, then Thor should be the same way for you then, because Thor's suit's OP as hell.
That's why his first two films aren't the greatest films.
No, but Thor came into it OP. So his origin story shows you that he is this brash, overpowered prince. That so his trajectory, he went from being super powered to not being powered.
Okay,
so humble. So he knew how to do the same thing.
But you know about that for any character. Hell, Iron Man.
No, but we're not talking about
Man.
With her, she went from being a normal person she was the least qualified to be on that team. She just happened to know some stuff, because you damn sure know the S.H.I.E.L.D. had better computer operators than her. But Coulson kind of saw a little spunk in her, and then she became the most powerful person on the team.
You know who she is?
All of season 2 revolves around her character.
I feel like if they
everything else revolves around.
I feel like if they didn't try to, I really feel like if they didn't try to pair her with every attractive male that they had on the show, her character would be totally different.
I don't think that was Feige. I think that was Jeff Loeb, because Jeff Loeb doesn't know how to write.
It was, and that's why Inhumans failed, because Jeff Loeb didn't know what the hell he was doing.
But do you know who she is? She's Jason Todd. She's the Red Hood. She went from a character everyone kind of liked.
Nobody liked Jason Todd. That's why we killed him.
A few people. I know. I voted on that too for him to die. But the people that did like him as a character, and then what happened? He came back and he was OP as fuck, because legitimately he should be Batman.
No, but see, the reason I don't know.
Dick Grayson's always going to be next in line.
And I still feel like there's a slight difference in that, because they pretty much everybody was like, oh, nobody likes Jason Todd. All right, let's kill him, but like not kill him. Let's revamp him into this character, and you revamped him into a character that everybody liked.
And it was interesting too.
And it was interesting, like he's like the flip of the coin to Batman, right? Whereas Daisy's like
she became less interesting. If she can do everything, what does she need the team for? Why are we watching them?
She was a character that you kind of liked in the beginning, and then you slowly stopped liking her. It's the reverse effect.
And that wasn't for me. I liked her in the beginning, and then slowly, season after season, I'm like, I don't care about your journey, because literally it's it's Sky and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what it is. Coulson,
I'll give her a shot.
The character got me in is now a background character. May is getting regressed as a character. You took Ward off, who was one of my favorite characters. I like Fitz and Simmons, but it's a little fucking annoying. All right, either be together, don't be together. It's getting annoying.
They eventually got together, but they kept separating them. But my thing is, with Sky, it was just like you made everybody around her like her surrogates, right? Whereas it's like, okay, let's be family, let's be teammates. But like Coulson became your daddy, May became your mama, Fitz and Simmons and your siblings, and any male that could breathe was like your boyfriend.
I think the only male that came on the show that she didn't wind up with was
Deke. I think Deke.
Deke and Doc Samson. The only character she really not Doc Samson. Fuck the one I hate that season.
So she ended up with what's his name's character? Black dude?
No, Mac. No.
She never ended up with Mac, did she? No. Okay.
No,
Mac
was like her big brother. Mac
who was Mac? Who was Mac? Mac was with somebody before Yo-Yo, wasn't he?
He had a family, I think.
No, he had a family. He had,
and they like. Family. Then he got with Yo-Yo.
Yeah, he got with Yo-Yo.
But look, if they bring her back, I trust Feige to not fuck this up.
I actually don't think they would because they've done. Feige has made a point to differentiate the movies from that.
Well, we don't. Well, again, with this whole Jamie Foxx news, everything's out the window. No one knows anymore.
I'm not too surprised with that because I mean that's how they got J.K. Simmons back with that deal. With
but that's the thing, though. But that's the thing, though.
Certain things they are bringing back.
That's the thing, though, Kayos. We all expected J.K. Simmons to play Jonah Jameson because no one else could have.
No, I didn't.
I did not expect them to pull that. Honestly, that's my favorite end credit scene.
At the end, I was like, what?
I literally
almost jumped out of my seat because that was the greatest cameo and the best end credit scene they have done.
But let me ask you this. Had they brought someone else in, you would have been like, they should have brought J.K. Simmons back.
I would have said,
it's
fine.
No one that can play
depending on who the actor is, that character is a character you can have somebody else play. But when I think of it, the first live action when I think of is him. But her, I don't need Sky to be with this.
No. What I'm saying is, like for JK, he was just in the Spider-Man game. We had just heard him in that game prior to Far From Home.
That wasn't J.K. Simmons. That's not J.K. Simmons in Spider-Man 4.
That's not?
Nope. Sounds like him, doesn't he? But it's not him.
Okay, but
I will. Voice actor.
Yeah. You could have seen anyone else play Electro. They didn't have to bring Jamie Foxx back.
No, but my thing is you can easily say like you can't see anybody else playing Jameson, which is true because J.K. Simmons looks like him. He has
talks like him.
The voice. He has all that stuff.
Even
right?
bald, he looks like him.
But even though we as fans can be like, man, I couldn't imagine nobody else playing him. That don't mean that the studio gonna be like, yo, my man's is gonna play him. So like, you can't really be like, well, you knew it was gonna happen. You knew it was gonna happen because who else was they gonna get? They could have got anybody else to play him, but they really
us as a comic book fan community. More often than not, we always shit on the casting.
Oh, of course. Of course we do.
If the internet had been a thing in 1988 when they announced Michael Keaton for Batman, the internet would have blown up back then.
Hell,
thousands of people wrote in to WB saying they hated
I'll give you the best example. Heath Ledger and your Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. They shitted on both those when they both were announced.
I don't remember anybody shitting on Joaquin because everybody wanted him to.
Everyone shitted on Joaquin. Here's why. Everyone shitted on Joaquin because they didn't want him to replace Heath. And the second you saw that first trailer, like, oh, this ain't shit like Heath Ledger's Joker.
I don't remember the backlash for.
I do not remember the backlash.
I remember the backlash.
I remember backlash. Ben Affleck owed me money. I defended his ass.
I'm dead. I remember backlash for Ben Affleck. I do, but I also remember backlash for Heath Ledger. And again,
I remember that. I wasn't really part of that.
I was just by myself.
And even though, and I won't say she deserves it. I
know more women. Ironically, I know more women who are actually on board. Nerds that I know, they were on board with Heath Ledger's casting than I knew guys that were on.
Because as
it was
women,
right after Brokeback Mountain.
not only did we think that he was fine, because I've been a Heath Ledger fan since 10 Things I Hate About You. So I've been watching his career since that film. So I know the type of actor he is. So when they say he was gonna play Joker, it was over. I was like, yo, he's going to body this role, and nobody believed me until it came out.
But I'm of the mindset where no matter what the casting is, people are gonna hate on it. Like if they announce tomorrow, that the rumor about Reverse Flash being a woman is true, they're gonna shit on it.
I'm not mad at that. It's at least something different.
But again, we know how fans are when it comes to fandom. They aren't like.
So my whole thing is just do what you need. Just do what you want to do. Then at the end,
we talked about this before with the whole Shuri thing. No matter how much people talk about Shuri being Black Panther, people are still going to shit on it because of.
Yes, we are.
What?
Continue.
Oh no! But people are still gonna shit on it because it's not what they wanted. I mean,
that's a different situation. Even before his untimely passing of Chadwick, we had said that's probably where they're going with that character. So it was already kind of ingrained. Okay, she is smarter than him as a character. She comes up with all his stuff. The only thing that's missing is from Shuri as a character to T'Challa as a character. The only thing that's really missing is she doesn't have the heart-shaped herb to have the enhanced human abilities. She created his suit. She created his new EMP power. She knows how to fight. That's the only thing that's holding her back. So have you given her some type of enhancement? There's nothing as a character, he's virtuous and everything, but as a Black Panther, there's nothing saying that she couldn't fulfill that same role.
And the only thing, and realistically, the heart-shaped herb isn't really holding her back because there's a character in the comics called White Tiger who has a synthetic version of the heart-shaped herb in him.
I think the same shit for her. I think they'll probably retcon that part in, or there was one plant that Killmonger didn't burn or something, and she can take that.
But my thing is, fire sometimes doesn't wipe away everything. These are, it's a plant essentially. You can burn down a forest, and the seeds are still there to re-spread down. And
did they say something to that effect or something in the movie? Do I remember that correctly?
They never mentioned it. They left that scene. But again,
but if we're gonna go scientific, to me, that might be the cleanest way you can do it, because it's possible that that it can regrow, because vibranium is in their soil, is in everything. So it's in everything. So like that can easily regrow.
But again, they still have the big eraser in Doctor Strange 2: Multiverse of Madness. They can do whatever the hell they want. That movie is going to be weird as fuck. So they can do whatever the hell they want with that movie. And now that you basically said we're gonna have a character called America in the movie where she can literally super kick her way through dimensions to get whatever the fuck she wants. Like again, dude, that's literally her power. It messes with me so much. Like it's so funny how they actually make that work. I wouldn't be surprised if.
But hopefully you don't. Hopefully you don't. Like they're the thing about the MCU that kind of distinguishes it from the DCEU is the fact that it's grounded in some sort of explainable reality, right? So like some of these fantastical characters that Marvel has, unfortunately, it might be cool to see them on screen because of like the graphics.
Oh, for sure.
Look, you might not want to bring them because now we're gonna get disillusioned because like you're almost there with Captain Marvel. Which is why she was gone for half of Endgames.
That's actually what I loved about Daredevil is the fact that they didn't make his powers just like they were in the Daredevil film, where they were just so superpower-ish. It was
he was OP.
He's enhanced probably because of the radioactivity, but he's just a really devout good ninja. There's nothing that Matt could do that Stick really couldn't do.
Right,
except a little better than Stick, which is I like that it was grounded for the most part in realism, to where like blind people's senses are enhanced. His are just enhanced just a little bit more. He can probably hear as good as Captain America can hear.
But it's enhanced due to his training as well, which makes it even more believable, right? Because it's like you can be deaf, but you might not be as enhanced as this kid because he went through that training that helped develop his sound and his sensing and all that type of stuff way better than a normal human. Yeah, he can see a little bit because of the enhancement, but it makes a lot more sense that his own natural training led to him being that developed.
But I don't think we're gonna get any huge characters. Like, I don't think we're gonna get Galactus ever. I don't think the MCU is ever gonna have Galactus. No,
you can't do the Fantastic Four and not have Galactus. I mean,
you can do Fantastic Four without having Galactus. You can.
That's like having Batman without having the Joker.
Do you want to know why I say that? Because the Fantastic Four have so many villains. You could do again. You're gonna have Kang the Time Conqueror there. That's one. You're gonna have Doom. You can have Super Skrull, Annihilus, Nexalus. All these characters that are space characters that you can
think about it. We know that, but they're not making these films for us. We're the diehards. We know the history. They're making these for the people that are more lay fans. They're not going to do Annihilus first. They're going to do Galactus because
that's true.
Anybody that even has a passing reference to the older Fantastic Four films, they know that was not a good version of Galactus to have him as a cloud.
Exactly.
And the big selling point is the Silver Surfer. He will be the antagonist in the first film or first half film, and then he will be a giant franchise.
I mean, I seen it, but that was just funny. He was like, to have him as a cloud. It's so dismissive and hilarious.
But here's the thing, though. Here's why.
Honestly, I bootlegged that movie. I still have the damn bootleg, ironically.
But here's the thing. I
was so upset when I saw that because I avoided spoilers. And I saw it, and I'm like, I was texting. I'm like, so did they make Galactus a cloud? Yeah, man.
Yeah. So here's why I say they can do whatever they want with the MCU regarding villains. Ghost is not a Ant-Man villain. Has never been, and never will be.
Ant-Man doesn't have a great rogues gallery, though.
He doesn't, but at the same
because he's more of an Avengers character.
Right, but think about it. Ultron, you don't even involve Ant-Man whatsoever, and then Ant-Man.
I've said that was my biggest mistake of Phase 2.
But again,
doing Ultron that early,
they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want with these movies. Again, Ego is not a Guardians villain.
But I will say though,
that was more James Gunn. James Gunn did that.
Yeah, James Gunn did that. But I will say though, with Ultron, like, to me, it makes sense simply because it's a different Ant-Man. Like, it's not the Ant-Man that created him in the comics. So like, it still works because it's Tony Stark's brain, and you just substituted Bruce Banner, which is still a smart brain like Hank Pym. It's just a different Ant-Man. Now, if this Ant-Man wasn't Scott and it was Hank, then like I would be like, yo, like they should have flipped it. Because I feel like the MCU is like, I'm gonna take these comic book, like I'm gonna take this blueprint, but let me erase this little part and just like add this little part. And I feel like it's not gonna all be 100% aligned with the comics, but I feel like it's gonna give you enough.
As you brought up before,
as a fan, and then a person who's not a fan, I can still come in and enjoy it. Right. And not really have to know the background of it.
And as you said, Chaos with Civil War. You think Civil War is one of the best movies the MCU's ever made, correct? Civil War in the movie ain't shit like Civil War in the comic.
We all knew that because they didn't have the license to those characters. We didn't know they were going to get Spidey. They didn't plan on having Spidey.
You know what
had they known they were going to have Spidey ahead of time, they really could have made some changes. But I get it. But I'm like, you're doing the Fantastic Four, and the thing is, that franchise means a lot to Kevin Feige because he was involved in that franchise.
Oh, for sure.
And so the X-Men and the Fantastic Four mean a lot to him. X-Men really more because that's where you first was ever.
I'm still interested how they're gonna pull that off. I don't know how they're gonna pull that off.
Having the Fantastic Four, and he even says it. We want to wait to do them because we want to do them right. They were not done justice in those two.
They weren't.
Michael.
So you have to
do Galactus.
So Lai, you think Wanda would end up creating the X-Men, correct?
Mm-hmm. I think she will because essentially like. To me that might be the only way in the MCU's continuity that you can bring the X-Men in, because the first thing you're going to think of is so Xavier, where you been this whole time? Like, because aren't they based in New York just like everybody else? Like they based
no.
Where are they based?
Yes. Well, the main X-Men, yes, they in Westchester, New York. I think they are going to make them from the energy snap. I think that's
they would have done that already.
I don't.
They would have done it already.
Well, the blip. Suppose with the blip and everything, I think they're gonna have them created by the first energy surge from the first snap, and in those 5 years, they were just finding out about their abilities. Because I honestly don't think there's any way you can say Xavier had his powers his entire life and had this school and nobody knew about it. I think you basically just have to make it. He was a guy that took in at-risk kids. Now all these at-risk kids have powers. Now he has powers, because I don't really think there's any way you can reverse retcon them being there this entire time, and there have been no mention to it when the MCU is built off of.
You know how you could do it? You know how you could do it?
Unless that they do exist in an alternate universe, and possibly Wanda's
probably the easiest way. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Because me thinking about your way, to have a newly powered acquired Xavier with these kids won't make sense. Because who protected who? You need somebody with like who has.
That's what I'm saying. There's no great way to do it like that. There's no way they could have been there the whole time.
I could see them not being on the same universe, and Wanda's abilities cracks through reality. Just like she brought in Monica, she could bring in the rest of them.
And I wanted this idea out here, because based on what I've read from House of X and Powers of X, what if they've always been 3 mutants? There's always been Charles, there's always been Magneto, and Moira McTaggart. Because in the comics, Moira has the power where she essentially, it's like a big ass computer file. She lives for so long, she dies, and time resets for her where she's a baby, but she remembers everything of her past life. You could do that to where her 10th life is now after the snap, and she now realizes she meets with Charles. But I just say Marvel's where to do this. You bring her in, and you bring in Charles like that, so Charles can now raise these kids in secret without the Avengers knowing. Because again, they have to cover that 5 years. I think the only character that will be brought up during that 5 years, if it's my personal opinion, I think Miles is going to get his power during the blip. Because if I was writing Miles, I would do it to where Miles was on the trip that Peter jumped off of. They went to Horizon.
He would have been too young for that. I think. Because right now they're 5 years ahead. He would be around Peter's age.
But let's explain. He's on that same boat, on the same bus. They get to the lab that has spiders there, and it's not Oscorp. He blips. When the blip is reversed, he comes back, but he's in that building and is broken down. He tries to get out. He gets bitten by a spider and then goes home. And then for years, he has his power, but like in the comics, he doesn't do anything. So if Peter dies in any of the movies, he doesn't react the same way he did in the comics. Because when Peter dies in the comics, Miles does not go to help him, even though Miles had the ability to help him. You can do it that way.
My question is, they never, let me see. Well, they kind of do. They kind of explain this in Endgame, but they never really explain, like, they explain that when you come back like where you left off, I guess, or whatever.
Exactly. That's my point. He could be at a lab, and it'd be the same way any A's lab was in Venom, where it was broken down.
But I feel like he won't be the only person.
He could have been. It could have been to where he got separated from the class trip. And
I don't think that's that bad. I just think there's too much you have to do to explain him being there at that time. It's very. This is no disrespect or nothing like that, but it's very convoluted. You need to streamline that idea. There's a lot of steps to get him to this building, to make sure he gets bit, to make sure this happens. Like, it's a lot. Like Tony, I would say that he was on the trip. He got set up. Then he created the arc reactor out of necessity.
But you also got to think about this standpoint. You could do it to where the school trip gets interrupted because of the ship that Thanos has, not Thanos, but his minions have, comes down to Earth and starts fucking shit up. The kids leave, he gets stuck.
And think about it.
Because the snap happens.
That's going to be a good 15 to 20 minutes of the first film, or you having to explain that.
But you got to remember, Avengers Infinity War happened over an hour.
I don't think we'll ever see a Miles Morales.
I think we will.
I think if we do, Sony's going to do it after they've done at least 6 Spider-Man films. And I don't think Sony, with the way they've done stuff, I don't think they're going to be smart enough to give him that much backstory. They'll just have a passing comment or something, and he's the new Spider-Man, and he's wearing the black costume. I don't think so. I don't give Sony that much credit.
Or they bring him in, or they bring him in from a mirror universe.
I think you can only do that once. I think you can't keep relying on that one. So I think we've got possibly the Fantastic Four, X-Men, Miles. Those are 3 characters we haven't seen in the MCU that are huge, that can hold a franchise by themselves and be the next 10 to 15 years worth of films. If you're going to do that for one, I think the only one it really actually plays with is the X-Men, because there's so many other characters. It's not just 5 X-Men. You have so many other characters that come in with the X-Men. I think if you're going to do that one with the reality, dimension warping abilities from Wanda, I think the best one would be that, because it does play into her with no more mutants.
I think both Wanda and Kane the Time Conqueror will be big reasons as to why certain characters from different universes are coming over from their universes. Because we still
but also nobody knows, like nobody has ever used all 5 stones at once before. So you don't know what the ramifications of not only doing it once, but doing it twice can be. There could be pocket dimensions that have opened up because of this. It could be rips in reality that they don't even know about.
And that's why I think Kane comes in, because Kane is so anal about time.
And because S.H.I.E.L.D. is down, you don't have people monitoring the world like it used to be. And remember, even in Doctor Strange, some of those sanctums have been broken down too, that they don't have guardians. Mm-hmm. So
I think the Fantastic Four would be the best way to do that. The energy surge came.
I think the sanctums are pretty much intact though.
But think about it. When the energy surge happens, it's the biggest thing that's ever happened in the history of any galaxy that we have, not just any dimension, but that galaxy. Nobody knows what's going on. Tony Stark is a complete recluse. Hulk is a recluse. So there's going to be somebody who's going to step up to find out where this energy surge came, because the Avengers didn't put out a press briefing saying, hey, by the way, this guy named Thanos did this. This is the guy you need to blame. There are some people who thought this was a religious event that happened. It was the rapture. So nobody knows what's happening. You don't have S.H.I.E.L.D. out there to help you, really. So there's going to be some scientist that wants to go out into the stratosphere to find out what happened. Takes his family, cosmic rays happen, boom, you got yourself a Fantastic Four. You could have them in the rocket going up, and you just have them saying in expository dialogue, yeah, it really was crazy what happened with that surge of energy. We have to come up here to find it. Boom. Start the Fantastic Four.
In all honesty, for me, the snap can be what transforms them. The snap can be, because maybe they didn't disappear, right? But maybe
which snap though?
No, I mean disappear. I mean, they were on Earth, and they go. They're on Earth, and they go up there, and that's when the second snap happens. And
no, that's what I'm talking about. The second snap, and they don't get dusted.
Wait, which second snap though? Which second snap?
Hulk snap.
Because you could say it's both.
Technically, that would be a third snap, because Thanos did snap twice.
Yeah.
So,
but you can say it's the third or fourth snap, because you can easily say they were in the Baxter building, which I think is on Avengers Tower. They could have easily been there testing something.
I really want that to be Oscorp though. The fact that it was a beacon
they're gonna do Oscorp. I don't think they're gonna do Oscorp.
The fact there was a beacon of hope with the
Baxter building
Avengers.
Can't be the old Avengers Tower, because it's still Tony's place.
No, it's not. I don't know. It's not.
No, they sold it in Homecoming.
They sold it in Homecoming, and they also kind of
that secret.
And they also kind of hinted at it at the end of Far From Home when he swings past and he says, "Look out for things to come." And they cut and on the sign they cut it. And on the sign they cut it out. They cut out. It has a red 1, a yellow 2, a green 3, and they don't show a blue 4.
Missing. I think it'd be better if it was Oscorp, because think about it. That technology that is in that building, which is probably some of the best technology in the world.
It's not there anymore.
Part of that stuff, I mean, you still have the manufacturing stuff that they use to make all the robots. That stuff is still there. The robots themselves aren't there, but the manufacturing stuff is still in that building. Why would you buy that building without having the actual stuff in? Think about the Green Goblin having access to that type of manufacturing technology to make.
But you know what though? I'm glad you brought that up. That could be a way for Reed to test out dimensional breaches. He could test that out with that tech.
Could play. I wouldn't be mad if they made that the Baxter building. I think it'd be kind of cheesy. to make Avengers Tower, then into the Baxter Building. It kind of seems like giving the guy the guy that moved out of your apartment your shoes or something. Like, it's just weird to be in them stuff.
I mean, but it could have been always named the Baxter Building because Tony just bought the building on a whim.
But I mean, it's New York, and a building is a building, and you gonna sell that bad boy regardless of
right.
And you gonna sell it for more because it used to be Avengers Tower, so like you're gonna capitalize on that.
And you can easily have it to where Dr. Doom buys it first as a gift for Reed, and then they end up taking it from him.
Listen here, I don't need Reed, and I know Reed and Doom in the comics they knew each other or whatever, right? Like
they have to. It makes the rivalry more personal for them to know each other.
No, stop. I'm asking a question. They knew each other, correct?
Yes.
In the comics?
Yes.
Okay. So
it was basically a best friend thing. He was jealous of Reed.
I don't need it to be like the Fantastic Four 2016 where it's a friendship that I don't care about.
Oh no.
Like I need it to be a friendship that I care about, right?
The only reason
I need Doom's transformation to be something where like I know it's coming and I don't want it to happen. Right?
I think the best way you do that is you do like a Sinestro in the Green Lantern film. You don't make him the villain immediately. Sinestro in the Green Lantern film, he was a good guy.
First Fantastic Four film. You need to make
the thing is,
we get attached to Doom. He's not evil. You can see that he's a little immoral. He's a touch different.
I don't want Sue and Reed to be together in the first film.
No,
I want everybody to be friends. I don't want nobody to be with Sue. Nobody be with Sue.
I want that to be an actual rivalry to where it could go either way. Her and Victor have a great relationship. Her and Reed have a good relationship.
I don't even want that. I want the rivalry to be intellectual.
You don't want her involved in that one.
I don't want her involved in it. And it could be the three of them, and it could be an intellectual like
love triangle
or whatever. It could be an intellectual love triangle. Like it doesn't have to be like, to me it's so 90s WB to have it so that love triangle. I know that it's like that in the comics, but I feel like it's 2020, we've evolved over that.
I agree.
Like two dudes fighting over a girl, and then like neither one of them actually listening to what the girl wants, and she's sitting here like, but I don't really like you. I really like you, but I enjoy you as a friend. But nobody cares. It's like
I don't want her to be sneaky smart either. I don't want it to be like a problem on the board that Reed can't figure. He turns around and Sue's figured the shit out. And you're smart too. I don't want that either. I want her to be on equal playing field with him.
Exactly, and that's what I want. I want to be. Also, I want Johnny to be Johnny, but I don't want him to be like he dumb as rocks. Neither. Like
you got to give them all a reason to be around.
Because you can't have. I know you can have siblings where like one sibling is smarter than the other one, but 9 out of 10.
That's your brother. Listen to this episode.
Facts. But
Johnny's never been the genius. He's never of the four of them. He's kind of the hothead, but he's a jock.
But you can still be a jock with smarts, though. With some.
That's the thing. They've never done Johnny justice in the films. In the Chris Evans versions, he was just a horned up Maxim axe-wearing douchebag. That was actually really a sexual predator, especially in that first fucking film.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, I love MBJ. He had no reason to be there. He did nothing.
No, he did nothing.
He did nothing. You did not let me know from him building a shitty car why he should be on $1 trillion government-funded project.
He was a mechanic, but so was Ben, essentially. So
Ben shit works. The reason that Reed's there is because Ben shit helped him work. The first thing I see Johnny do is he needs to go to fucking Midas to get a better muffler. Like, what is his point of being there? So you got to give them all something different. That's the one thing they've never done.
You can still make Johnny a hothead, but it has to be warranted. It has to be a reason why he's like this, and you have to give me stakes with him. Also, don't make him stupid. Like, you can't. He's not going to be genius. He's not going to be close to like Sue's intelligence or even Reed's or whatever. But he should be able to at least understand. You can't be around a family member who is that smart and not pick up something.
I'd rather him be the pilot.
And
if they go up, he's the pilot. Reed's the smart one that doesn't know how to do it. Give him that. Give him at least that to do explain why he was there. The old school.
There's one thing I need to see if you're gonna do Johnny Storm. You have to make him around the same age as Peter. You have to. Johnny,
for sure.
That's the one
for
thing.
Sure.
That's the one thing that they've missing. He doesn't have a friend on the Avengers team. It's just him there. Now that you're bringing in Kamala Khan,
Ben because they're older.
Now that you're bringing in Kamala Khan, it's Kamala Khan's Peter, Shuri, and Johnny. That's the beginning of a young Avengers team.
You know what? That would be good. You make Reed if we get the casting and it's John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. They're in their mid to late 30s. You have Johnny.
I don't think it's gonna be them. I don't think it's gonna be them. I think if you're bringing in Jonathan Majors to play Kang, and he ends up being the great descendant of Reed Richards,
you can have. My grandmother's half white, so
one of them gotta be black. One of them gotta be a nigga.
No, they do not.
They don't. And the thing is, the backlash that they got from Michael B. Jordan being cast.
They're not gonna do that again.
Kevin Feige's too smart to do that.
He's not gonna do that again.
And the thing is, you need them to be the shepherds of the next 10 years of the MC. You're gonna get the casting right. You can't take a risk and do that.
Your blood can get either diluted or added to. And I feel like because Kang, will we even know he black? You feel me?
Yeah.
Like however they design him, like will we even know he?
I feel they will. They will.
And then
and
the thing about that would be trippy. I mean, okay, say you get John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. You have Kang in this first film. For the lay fans that don't know he's related to the Fantastic Four, they make no reference of him being related to Fantastic Four. Next year, June, we get casting. They're going to do the Fantastic Four, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski. We get their movie in 2022. 2025, in Fantastic Four 2, Kang the Conqueror comes back. Hey, great-granddad. You see John Krasinski. You've seen probably Kang in like a flashback. He's black. He's Jonathan Majors. And he's calling him great-granddad. That plays more to like, wait, what? Then,
but see the way
have them all be black.
See, I know a lot of applications of how are we gonna even see him as black? You can easily do it to where that outfit that face that he normally wears in the comics, that could be his armor. That could be like an armor thing. Okay. So that like once he goes into fight mode, it just kind of like Iron Man armor. He's been around the Fantastic Four for so long, he knows how Iron Man is, and wants to eyelash his armor after him.
I don't know. That's not bad. But crazy. This is a good after show.
But I wouldn't mind John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, and even if because essentially Peter is supposed to be 20 or something like that, 20 by now. Right.
In real life or in the comic?
Technically, he's 21. He's supposed to be like 16. So yeah, with the 5 years, he's supposed
to be like 20, 21.
Yeah, because they make that joke about the kid that grew up, He's not technically. He was drinking. He's like, hey, ma'am, he's just big. He's not actually the age of 21, so he shouldn't be drinking. So yeah.
Even though he shouldn't even be in high school with them.
I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing.
I ain't going back to my high school. I'm 21 years old. I'm going to college.
I wouldn't be surprised if for Spider-Man 3 they make.
I'm so confused, and somebody explain it to me real quick though. Like my man's, like he's the only one that didn't get blipped, right? So how was he still? So who was he? Was he a chaperone?
The kid that was trying to steal MJ from Peter.
Which is weird because she's 15 and you like 20.
That's really something I don't really ever think anybody really said. Yeah. Why would you go back to high school? You were there the whole time.
Because he didn't have his degree. I think that was it. He didn't have his degree.
Fucking get your GED, man. You ain't going back to high school. But that high school junior.
But that high school,
21-year-old junior.
But Midtown High School is a big high school for in the comics for them to go to. It's like it's like the MIT of high schools.
I know, but in the MCU, it's just a regular neighborhood high school.
Right, in the MCU is a regular school, so the fact
that's funny though. That's really funny.
They should have put him in like night class. So like he had no point to be there, only to be an antagonist for Peter and Mary Jane.
For sure.
Ew, that's nasty.
But not to bring the whole age thing. Don't be surprised if Stark gives Peter the Stark Industries and he turns it into Parker Industries.
I think he would have did it already.
I think they would
do that for the third movie.
I think you've got to go away from Tony with that third movie because you did enough for the sequel.
Because he already gave him Edith, which is already enough power that one kid can have. After that, you need to like separate the MCU from Iron Man. Literally, let him die.
For real. Because I mean, there's nothing. He completely mourned him that whole film, so there's nothing more you can do with the Tony story.
And towards the climax of the film, they pretty much showed us that Peter is the new Tony Stark in a sense because he created his own armor. They played the AC/DC when he was making this stuff. They kind of like tossed the hat to him like you are.
He did the thing, the arm thing.
With the armor, he's like looking at him and happy's all. Oh my god! And he's like, what?
That was a good moment. That was a feel good moment.
I felt a little something in my chest.
I did too. I was like,
heart palpitation or something. But that when he did that with his hand,
and Happy just looks back and sees it, and he's like, "It's Tony all over again."
It hits me, but yeah.
Why I love this, Peter, because you showed that he's smart. There's a reason he's smart. He might not be like over genius level, but he ain't stupid neither. The dude creates his own suits, his own ideas, his own web shooters. Like all, like you need to put that into the movie. You need to see why he's smart. I like that. Definitely.
But we're gonna end it here.
Let's wrap it up.
Thank you all for listening to the after show. This is our third episode. So yes, as I mentioned this to the chat, I mentioned it to you all. The after show will now be coming out on Fridays only. So this week you got two after shows. This one and the one on Wednesday. Hope you'll listen to that one, or we'll watch that one rather. But after will be coming out on Fridays after Wednesday's dropping of the main episode of the podcast. Listen to the podcast on Stitcher, Anchor, Spotify,
Google
Apple
Play,
Music, Google Music, Google Play while they still have it. All that.
You still listen to it on Google Podcast too. If you just
you
go
can watch
Google
it on Google Podcast.
Because my dog Ed is the only person you get to listen to us from Google Podcasts. My dog Ed, he's the only one to listen to it on Google that platform.
Podcast Republic, as well.
Stitcher, Radio Public. If it's a major platform, we on there.
Platform of a podcast, we're on that. So
so please check it out. We hope you all enjoy. I think Kayos is the inspiration behind the picture for this episode's podcast, for the episode after show. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Again,
like, share, and subscribe.
Also comment
and hit the notification bell.
Also request what you would like us to dig deep into. Like love
the after show. Give us stuff.
Yeah,
within reason.
This is y'all's show, man. Y'all tell us what y'all want to talk about. Hit us up on our respective social medias down here's.
We come up with random shit every now and then. Like we come up with a bunch of random shit, but we also like having topics to talk about as well. So again, my name is JayTezla. You can find me at all social media at JayTezla. Live, want to give them your social media?
You can find me on all social media at Black Girl Marvel. It's your girl Live. Follow me on Anchor. I have my own separate podcast as well. Like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, she has great reviews too. So follow her and give her some watching ideas because she does great reviews and commentary.
And she'll watch
one on The Last Jedi features.
I will watch.
You can find me on at Team Kayos on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on Facebook in the Wakanda Black Nerdcast is this Facebook page. Send us a like.
Yes, and to not leave them off, you can also follow our other two hosts, Lucia at Is She Black or Asian on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also follow our main host when he's not sleepy, Mark, aka Zero, at Red Face and Monster. That's red_face_monster with an A at the end. On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Blacklist Gamers as well. You can follow them as well. That's also his gaming channel. We might pop up there every now and then. We hope you all enjoy the after show. There it is right there on the screen. Pause right there if you can see it. Hope you all enjoy. Have a good week, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.